Hello and welcome to Living in Spiritual Awareness. I'm your host, Lisa Mastrocola, and tonight we're going to show you how you can change your life and lead the life of your dreams. Lately, it seems like a lot of people seem to think we're heading down the wrong path. Who's to say we have to buy into that notion? We really ultimately can decide how we choose to think. We all have obstacles and situations that are tough, but we can allow that situation to help us grow, or we can allow it to take us down. It's never too late. Remember, it's never too late to learn different things about yourself and see, what kind of things, see where life takes you and what kind of things you can accomplish. Have you ever read the book or heard of the movie called The Secret? It's based on the law of attraction. And one of the spokespeople in that movie was Mike Dooley. And Mike Dooley is a New York Times best-selling author of the book, Infinite Possibilities, The Art of Living Your Dreams. And in Mike's segment, he talks about three things. Thoughts become things. And he teaches us to look at all the possibilities, of, success and happiness, and that we all are capable of achieving. So back in 2013, I was reading Mike's book, and I became so inspired that I decided to take a 3-day weekend course to become certified as an Infinite Possibilities trainer. Well, let me tell you, those 3 days were so, I can't even begin to tell you, so high vibration, unbelievably action-packed, positive sessions that were really life-changing for me. And I knew at that time that I really wanted to help other people, help other people take back their power. And so through these empowering workshops, adults and children alike can take limiting beliefs and turn them into empowering beliefs by understanding who they are, what life holds for them, and no matter where you are in your life, anything is possible. So with Mike's, recently, one of my fellow IPPIs, her name is Rebecca Psigoda, she took Mike's curriculum, his workshop curriculum, and she took it and she turned it into a curriculum for youth, and it's so exciting. And tonight I'd like to introduce you to my friend and fellow IPPI, Karlene Pierce.
Hi, Lisa.
Hi, Karlene.
Thank you so much for inviting me to share this opportunity of these empowering workshops that I think everyone really should know about.
Yes. Now, I know that, we're familiar with Mike's workshops, and I was turned on to Mike back in 2013. What about you? When did you become interested in Infinite Possibilities?
2009. One of the things that Mike Dooley does as part of his tut.com is he sends out inspiring emails every day called Notes from the Universe. And one of the ones that I got in 2009 really has stayed with me to this day. And it said, whatever it is you want, Karlene, think about it. Think, think, think. And as surely as the day follows the night, whatever you've thought about will be drawn into your life. It's the law. And that's the law of attraction that you mentioned from The Secret, that like attracts like. I'd had similar thoughts of that before. I'd heard it from other people, but the simplicity and the clarity of the way that Mike said it really stuck with me. As I said, I still remember it. And like most people, I've wondered why some people, life seems so easy for them, and for other people it seems really hard. And I know in my own life there have been patterns. There have been times when everything has just unfolded gracefully, gone along like no problem. And then there are times when no matter how hard I work, I just can't make it. I just can't get it to go the way I want it to go. And I wondered about that. Why is that? So from reading his book, Infinite Possibilities, and his main idea, which is that thoughts become things and thoughts create your life. Once I really absorbed that and owned it and realized that my thoughts were creating my life and that I was the only one who could stand in my own way if I had disempowering I can't thoughts, then I decided to pursue that. So when the training came along to be a trainer, I just jumped right on it. I thought that was the greatest thing because I've always wanted to help people. And I think if you can help people to achieve their dreams and change their lives, that's the most you can do for someone. So then when Rebecca came out with her program recently for kids, I thought, oh my God, I've always wondered why I didn't know this sooner. You know, it seems like it's something you should know as a kid. And imagine the possibilities that will open to you. Imagine the lives that these children will have once they know that they just can think and create their thoughts. So that's sort of how I got to it.
That's awesome. And I feel the same way, like being a teacher by trade. Everything I learn as an adult, it's the same thing. When I read the book, it was so empowering. I had so many, every page was an aha moment for me. And I do the exact same thing. Every time I learn something and that can like help me, help my life, my first thought is, how can I bring this to someone else? How can I make someone else's life easier? And then I always go to a child. How can I bring this to a child? Because I know as an adult, do you agree that when you learn these things, it's almost kind of teaching an old dog new tricks. It's like you have to kind of backtrack. You have to take old habits and kind of reteach yourself. And I always say, you know what? If we teach the children all these, give them these tools, all these empowering tools, then that just becomes like a natural progression for them, and they don't have to struggle. They know all these secrets, you know, and life can be really amazing kind of from the beginning.
Right.
Yeah, so we were both excited about Rebecca's the new program. I've been waiting patiently. I was like so excited, and so we just kind of got together, and it's a perfect time, I think. Kids are now getting back to school, so I think this is a perfect time to maybe lay out a little bit of the program today.
I do. I think starting a new school year is the perfect time to set goals and get new habits in place. And Infinite Possibilities and the I Believe in Me program teaches kids and adults to thrive, not just survive.
Right.
They're not just going to make it through school. It's going to show them how to thrive in school and in their life. We're going to give them tools that show them how to be powerful, to claim their power, not feel powerless, and to know that they have infinite possibilities. They really do. There's so many things that they can do with their lives.
Right, and I think another thing too is where we do have the adult version, that we at the same time, which I love, is that we can also offer workshops to the parents.
Right.
So while the kids are taking their workshops, parents can have, be taking workshops. And what about the teachers? It's like for anybody. I know from a teacher's point of view, you're starting a new year off and you're like, like you're kind of excited, but you have that, you know what I mean? So I think it's perfect even for teachers.
I do also. I agree.
Okay, so maybe why don't we maybe get into a little bit of the, should we give them an overview of the program?
Sure.
Okay.
Well, as you mentioned, the I Believe in Me program is a youth derivative of the Infinite Possibility Adult program. It's a 10-hour program of 1 hour per session per week, and each week builds upon the week before it. It has exercises, there's some homework. We will give each participant a workbook and a journal. They'll have some journaling exercises along with, stickers and pencils and that kind of stuff. So in week 1, it's really an introduction. We have the kids tell us a little bit about themselves, what they like, what they think they're good at. We will tell Mike's story, how he came to create Infinite Possibilities, which is really an interesting story because it has to do with an interaction he had with a homeless woman.
Right.
And then you and I could talk about how we came to it.
You know what? Maybe why don't we share? Can we share with the viewers Mike's story?
Sure. Do you want to do that?
Okay, sure. Well, Mike was saying that he was at like some sort of a conference or something, and he had taken some time off and walking. He was taking a walk, and he walked by this homeless woman. Right. Correct me if I'm wrong. I know it's been a while. And he walked by this homeless woman, and he decided to give her one of his books.
Yes. He didn't want to give her money.
Yes.
And so he thought that he would give her a copy of his book.
Right. And so she, in turn, loved it. I guess apparently she loved to read. She loved the book. And
he saw her again the next day because he was at the conference for a few days. So when he went back the next day, he stopped to talk to her, and he said she was smiling. Her whole demeanor had changed, and she had read some of the book, and that's when the idea came to him that this could actually change lives.
Right. And since then, I know that they've done, his program has been used in, different shelters, homeless shelters, and prisons, and really and truly, I mean, they have been changing lives. When people realize that they are in control, that their thoughts really do create things, create their reality, and they can change that at any moment. It's like so empowering for anybody. So I guess one of the major things I learned is it doesn't matter where you are, it doesn't matter who you are. Like where you are does not define who you are.
Right.
And just because you're in a situation today doesn't mean you have to be there tomorrow. It doesn't.
I like to say it's one page of a book.
I love that. Yes.
It's one page of your book.
Exactly. Okay, so we can get back to the kids.
The other thing we would talk about, in addition to why Mike created the program, is why Rebecca decided to create a program for children, why we decided to become trainers, and we would introduce the idea of infinite possibilities and empowerment, that everyone can succeed no matter what.
Right.
Then in week 2, we would actually lay the foundation for the program, which is that thoughts become things, that everything is created twice. The first time in your mind with your thoughts, and then out in the real world, in the reality, and that the thoughts you choose can create your life. Week 3 is going to be one of my favorites. It's where we're going to show them several different types of meditation.
Yeah.
And visualization. So we could have quiet meditation, we could have a moving meditation. There's just so many different types. And then go home and try it and come back with us.
What I love about this too is that we use we play a lot of games, and we use a lot of videos. And I think like right now with the Olympics that's on, it's like perfect timing, because we know that in order to become a gold medal athlete,
They're
that
visualizing.
they're using visualizations. They know how to, they picture, before they have an event, they're picturing the outcome, they're picturing the beginning, how they're feeling all the way through, right to the end. And I'm sure they picture winning. How does it feel standing on the podium, getting your medal? So we have a lot of things to practice with the kids, to share with the kids.
We do. And one of the things I forgot to mention in week 1 is that we're going to ask the kids to set 3 goals. One would be something that they'd like to accomplish by the end of this course, something for their school year, and then a long-term goal. And then we'll come back and revisit those later with them. Then week 4, we're going to talk about where thoughts come from. So that's beliefs. Anything that we think over and over again, a thought that we think so many times becomes a habit, basically is a belief.
You know what I love about the beliefs? I know I've done this with middle school kids, and what I love about the belief thing, I do this thing where I do a series of optical illusions. This like just kind of blows the mind. And they'll watch these optical illusions, and they're sitting there in a group, and they're swearing, they're seeing things move and things turn color and whatever. And then when you show them what it actually is, they cannot believe it. So that's really a huge thing. Like how many times, like something that we believe it's true and steadfast, and we could swear by it. And then look, it's a lot of times it's not what it appears to be.
Right.
So I know that's like usually an empowering exercise.
And a lot of beliefs are limiting. They're limiting beliefs. The I can't.
Right.
Versus the empowering I can beliefs.
Yes. We have to get rid of that I can't. And plus they're going to learn too that a lot of times we're going to like look at them. Where did they come from? Where did they originate?
Right.
So a lot of times it's like, maybe it held fast for family members at one time, but if you had a family member that believes that, times change, things change. What's true for another person doesn't have to be true for you.
I think we're always surprised when we find out that a belief we've had didn't even come from us. There's really no reason for us to have had that we got it from an environment or a family.
Exactly, right.
So then in week 5, we're going to do empowering beliefs. And this will be putting the old I can't belief to rest, and we're going to choose and claim and install new I can beliefs, empowering beliefs that will actually get them to the goals that we talked about before. Week 6 will be feeling and emotions. So it'll be how do you feel now, and how would you like to feel? And then we'll show them ways that emotions tell you things about yourself and about your environment. You can use it as a guidance system. But if you have an emotion that you don't like, how to change it so that you can feel differently and feel better about yourself or your situation. So I think that's going to be, I think, a really interesting one for kids, because a lot of times they're just not in tune with what they're actually feeling.
Right. I have to say, working with kids, I get so excited when a child has an aha moment. And that aha moment is going to change their life forever. It's so exciting. I just can't wait.
Week 7, we're going to do mandalas as an art form because it's a way for the child to become aware of what they're feeling, to focus on a particular emotion, whether they're having it or they want to have it, and to show them how something like drawing can focus you. You can think of the emotion you want to have, and you can actually get there through that because you're releasing the resistance to whatever's causing it, and you can get to a place of calm or peacefulness,
Right.
if that's what they...
And I think that's a really good activity sometimes in school. If you have a child that, has a lot of anxiety or can't sit still or whatever, a lot of times having them just color or in that mandala or draw, sometimes you think, like our reaction would be, oh no, they have to sit quietly and listen to me. But
Right.
you know what? It's really a lot of times, if they're coloring, they're actually listening better
Right.
to what you had to see. You're actually
using more senses.
exactly. So it's a big thing. And I also use the mandalas with adults. I know for many years I taught kids meditation classes, and kids really, they're so good. They go right there. They're not carrying a lot of baggage.
Right.
There's not a lot of ego. Whatever you ask them to do, they're right there. Adults, on the other hand, there's a lot of resistance. So I remember doing meditations with kids. They were fine. They'd go right there. They'd sit. They'd visualize. They were right with you. But when I taught meditation for adults, they had a lot of trouble. And over the years, I've heard people, adults, oh, I can't meditate, I get nervous, I can't sit still, I scratch my nose, I have to think of what I'm making for dinner. And so I would say to them, start with a mandala. Sit and color. This was years before they have all these adult coloring books. I'm like, really, God?
Ahead of your time.
But that's what it does. It actually calms you. It is a form of meditation, And so I say to adults, don't sit there and just, stop breathing, and that'll never work. Start with that, the coloring. It just kind of centers you.
Yep.
And it does force you to, not force you, but it does very
to awareness.
naturally, exactly, get you to relax and just...
I know one of the
calm
things
down.
Rebecca does with the kids in her sessions is she then takes the mandalas and they bring them to nursing homes or to senior centers to brighten the seniors'
They're
rooms.
beautiful. They're beautiful works of art
They
when
are.
they're done.
They really are.
Yes.
All right, well, that brings us to week 8, which is dreams, goals, and taking action. And this is where we go back to the goals that they set in the first session
Yep.
and actually design steps that can take them through the goal and talk about, which for me, I really like this one, is not being afraid to dream big, to have big dreams, and believing that you can accomplish them.
Mm-hmm.
And then to show them that even though it's a big dream, you don't need to take big steps. You can take baby steps, and baby steps will still get you to a big dream if you do it consistently and you're honest with the actions that you need to take. So I really like that idea. I'm anxious to see what kind of big goals these kids are
And I
going to
think
have.
that's really important for adults, because adults, I know from my point of view, if I'm asked to do something like to change something in my routine or in my life or whatever, if I feel the least bit overwhelmed, I just stop. So if you're asking adult, when we do this for adults, it's really important to know that big changes come with baby steps.
Right.
And that's true. You're just asking to make one step, one change a day,
Yep.
Or one step, and then when you've achieved it, and then move on to the next step. So everything for anybody, any age, it doesn't matter who, it doesn't matter where, it doesn't matter what you've been doing, when you decide to change, little baby steps.
Yep. And then in week 9, we will be making vision boards and talking about community. So we'll work with the students to see how they fit within the group, within their families, in their school, and then in the larger environment. And the vision board will be something they can bring home.
Yeah.
And that'll be a way for them to keep their dream in front of their face so that it's a constant reminder of what it is they want and what it is that they're going after. So that will help them to stay with their goals and take those baby steps.
Yeah, and there are a lot of celebrities. I remember watching not too long ago, Steve Harvey was on the Ellen DeGeneres show, and he was talking about vision boards. And he says he does vision boards. So I know there are a lot of people, and I'm sure that celebrities also do the visualizations. Like, they do the same thing. They walk their walk, and you can find them, any celebrity, your favorite celebrity, just pop them up on YouTube, and they're telling you, they live by visualization, and their beliefs. They believe they can, they believed they could, and they did, so they're no different than anyone else. That's everybody.
I know Jim Carrey is big on that, and he's done a lot of commencement speeches where he's told people that he actually wrote himself out a check for acting services and visualized himself receiving it, and it happened for him.
Right.
So I think that's an important.
Very powerful.
Yeah. And then finally on the last week, which is a fun day, that's going to be a fun day. So we would go over everything, do a quick review, see if anyone's struggling with some concept or needs some extra help. And then we will give out graduation certificates, which will be nice, and T-shirts, and have some snacks or whatever, have a little party, take some pictures, and sometimes I guess some of Rebecca's kids actually make a little video, so that might be fun to have them do a little music video and talk about what it is they've learned. And again, check in on the goals and see if they've met the goal that they set for the end of the session and how they're coming along with their school goal and their longer term goal.
I love it. So anyway, this program, I know Rebecca has now brought it to different parts of the world. People are now looking into, are now interested in it. And I really feel like this time on the planet, it's like a perfect time. It's like, I feel like, as we said, people feel like maybe we're kind of going down the wrong path. I know there's a lot of anxieties and fears. And I think it's like if people are feeling like, they need a little empowerment now. And I think it's like a perfect timing for it, And so we can, so if our viewers, if they have organizations, maybe there's an organization in their mind that they're thinking could, benefit from this. After-school programs, any organizations. Maybe you're running a PTO. I know PTO are always looking for, new ideas to bring to the schools, and, they can, we would love to hear from them. So in our email, they can email us at ip.ibimtrainer@gmail.com.
Right, yes.
Excellent.
Yep. And I think that if you have a student who would be interested, if you have a child, it would really be great if the parent, one or both parents, took the Infinite Possibility course, because then your whole family is on the same page and you understand with it. And I think when they see their kids come home and excited, that parents are going to want to do this. I can't think of why
so
they
that's
would.
another thing. So now, so we talked a little bit, we did an overview about the kids, so why don't we talk a little bit about Mike's?
Okay.
The Infinite Possibilities.
Mike's is instead of the 10 sessions, it's a 7-session program. And there's different ways you can do it. If someone wants you to come in for one day and do a 9 to 4 or something, you could do that. I prefer, and I think you do also, to split it up over like 3 weeks and do 3 2-hour sessions. And that gives you time to really go home and process and really get your mind around the homework, especially if these are new concepts for people. I think that taking the longer time is better. But we're open to whatever.
Yeah, just back to the kids for 1 minute. I don't know if we talk too much about that, but in the kids program, they get journals, they do get homework.
Yes.
So I love that. So same with the adults. I do love to spread it out, just like the kids version, because you know what? There is a lot to process. And I know if our viewers are anything like me, I will learn something. If I do it all in one day, I love it. And then the minute I leave, a few days later, a week later, I'm not going back to do those exercises. But if I know that I'm going back,
you have accountability.
Share, you have accountability. I'm going to share. And is there anything more powerful than sharing with other people? I know from experience, whether they're kids or adults, people love to be heard. People love to share. They love that component.
And the encouragement, when you set your goal, that someone, the rest of the group is rooting for you and they're going to help you along with it.
Right.
Yeah. And you never know, it's the connections you could make. I mean, what I need to make my goal come true could be something that you would be able to help me with, or vice versa. So.
And as you said the other day, that a lot of times people that have attended these workshops, they do build these bonds.
They do.
So they, then they meet, like, oh, let's get together again and meet. So, and nothing is by coincidence. So when you find yourself in a group for a class or whatever.
It's the people you're meant to be with.
Right, the people you're meant to be with, And so, the universe always has its way, you know. So, it's very exciting. So, and anything else you'd like to add about Mike's program?
No, I think that it's both the adult and the youth are one of the best things you could do for yourself. I mean, really to deliberately create the life of your dreams and to know that if you just can monitor your thoughts and think the thoughts that you want, that you will create what it is that you want. I think that's so powerful.
And I think kids would get that. Kids will give you no trouble at all. They'll get it. I think adults, on the other hand, it's it's fun. It's the same thing. There are videos for the adults. There are games that you play. So many thought-provoking exercises. So even if you think, oh, what's the use? An adult more would probably say, oh, what's the use? I can't, you know. Just try. I'm telling you, just call us, you know, or find an IP trainer and, you know, get yourself to a workshop, because really and truly it's life-changing.
It is. And it's a lot of fun, too, it really is.
So fun. And you get so many aha moments. It's really
And
excellent.
you really see your child bloom. You know, you really,
oh, my goodness. Yeah. It's like they need it, you know. They really do need it. Okay, so, well, this has been really, I don't know about you. I've had lots of fun, and I think that we've given our viewers an awful lot to think about in a short period of time. What do you think?
I do. I think so. And teachers, and
yes.
So I hope that people are now thinking, well, how could I do this, you know?
Yes, absolutely. It's so fun. And like you said, it's so flexible. We can do nights, you can do weekends, we can go into corporate offices. I know there's a lot of, you know, maybe corporate people that are looking to do some empowering things for their workers. We're there. Give us a call. We would love to come out and help you. Okay, so that wraps it up for our show tonight. We hope that you've learned a lot of information, that you've enjoyed what you've heard. If you belong to an organization that could use our services, or please feel free to contact either Karlene or myself. You can send us an email and we'll be happy to get back to you. And that's at ip.ibimtrainer@gmail.com. Or you could give me a call at Lisa Mastrocola, 978-835-3351. And we will be happy to talk to you and send you some information. Excellent. Karlene, it's been so great to have you here. I look forward to working with you.
Yes, me too. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us, and good night.